Hi Martin, based on the full list approved witness on the website, accountants holding a CPA Australian membership are allowed to certify Form 888s. Am I able to get my employer to certify it? This is the Form 888 written by an overseas friends and family. We plan to attach the ID copy as well. Meanwhile, I can't comment in terms of the authorized witness occupation list on the Form 888. It's very self-explanatory. It'll be on page 1 of the form. If it has CPA membership as part of the approved witness list, then certainly. I suppose the thing that jumps out as part of this question is that you're asking if the Form 888 written overseas can be signed. Just to be clear, the person making the Form 888 declaration, they need to sign, and that signature needs to be witnessed by the approved witness. So, put simply, the CPA accountant needs to be where the person is overseas in order to witness their signature. So I'm just making sure it's not so much about the accreditation of the person witnessing the signature, it's making sure that they actually witness the signature based on what you mentioned. Hi Nikhil. Hi Martin, my partner added her parents, siblings and her in-laws, mother-in-law, father-in-law and sister-in-law as non-migrating family members in the application. She has also added her parents and siblings in immediate family member section, and obviously she has added my parents and my sister in my sponsor family section. After going through your session last week, because we did talk about this last week, we understand that we should have added those details under non-migrating family members. Just wanted to check with you, do we have to inform the department about this? I would always suggest that it's best to amend incorrect answers, Nikhil, because depending on information provided in certain parts of the form, that may dictate the types of documentation that you're expected to provide for those people. So the correct and safest approach to this issue is, put simply, if you've provided incorrect information, if you've made a mistake or mistakes on the form, you should correct them. So yes, I would suggest that you should correct them. Hi Sherry. Hi Martin, good evening. Does the sponsor need to fill the Form 40SP forms? No. So when you're submitting an online partner visa, you're submitting the online visa application form and you're submitting the online sponsorship form. That is the Form 40SP. Used to be a paper-based document, now it's an online application. So you submit the visa first and then you go and complete the sponsorship and you submit both. You link the sponsorship to the visa using the TRN number that you've got from your visa. Patty, thank you for conveniently pasting the question on the Form 888. State any other matters you wish to add in support of the visa application. Can we leave it blank? I mean, the short answer is yes, you can of course leave it blank, but the more detailed the Form 888, the better. So it's always advisable for the witnesses making the declarations, your friends and family that are providing you the Form 888s, for them to use the space available to them as best as they can. Not everyone's going to write, full-length paragraphs, but if there's a specific paragraph there on page 2 that allows more information to be provided, it's always welcomed and always suggestible. So yes, you can leave it blank. Should you leave it blank? Not necessarily. Hi Sherry. Hi Martin. Some of the requirements seem to be requested multiple times throughout the application. Is it okay to attach the same documents on different category? The department category classifications in their checklist is horrible. It contradicts with others. It duplicates what it asks in other sections. It's very inconsistent. So it's a common pain point and people are constantly confused at where to upload individual documents. The first thing I will say, Sherry, is you don't need to attach the same document twice. Just attach it once. The second thing I'll say is, what matters more than what classification you upload your document is how you rename your document. So all files should be renamed associated to what that file is. If it's your joint lease, you want to name it cohabitation, joint lease, and the date of the lease. That way, the case officer knows what the file name is, what the purpose of the document is, irrespective of what classification or category you upload it under. Thirdly, we do have a resource. It's called an IMI upload guide that is available to those that purchase a VZ license as part of the package. And again, those VZ offers will be presented at the end of the live training later this month, Sherry. So if that's interesting to you, feel free to attend the training. and that resource will be purchasable. Question I asked last week, you said 2 888s would be enough. Danny, I don't believe I ever said 2 would be enough. What I said was 2 would probably be a minimum, because you need 2 for the online application form to proceed, but we would always suggest to get as many Form 888s as you can. As a rule of thumb, our clients typically get anywhere from 4 to 8 to 10 Form 888s. The more you can get, the stronger the social aspects, the greater weight your case will have, and the greater chance you will have to be considered de facto a spouse at the time of application. I've been in Oz for 3 years. I met my now husband, registered relationship, and married him during this period. Been in de facto a married relationship for 2 years now, but we have not traveled for him to meet my family. Is it possible for the Form 888 from his family and our friends, only as they have not met him? There's no legal requirement that those providing or declaring on the Form 888s have met in person, Valeria. You can get friends and family to complete Form 888s even though they haven't met him in person. They just need to know him. They need to know him and you and your relationship, and be willing to attest to your relationship. Just one question, do you think the fees will increase this year considering COVID? Good question. Typically, the fees increase on the 1st of July every year. However, if we reverse engineer why, the reason the partner visas, or any visa fees, most visa fees increase on the 1st of July, is because that's covered in the budget announcement. So the budget announcement typically happens a couple of weeks or a few weeks prior to the start of the new financial year. And in the budget, that's where it determines what the increase will be. As far as we know, there isn't a budget announcement scheduled until after July. So because of that, I have to assume there isn't going to be a fee increase, because it's not going to be listed anywhere. I could be wrong, Claudia, but that seems to be the general opinion, especially amongst other colleagues and other professionals that we've spoken to about that issue as well. So ordinarily, yes, the fees will go up on the 1st of July, but we're living through an unprecedented time in human history. All areas of government are being affected, and I would anticipate and predict that the fees probably won't go up on the 1st of July. But please don't hold me to that. I can't predict that to a guarantee. Manish, me and my partner lived in a shared house for 8 months before getting an official lease, utility bills. In that case, should we get a statutory declaration from the landlord? I mean, yes, you should always, if the question is, should we get more evidence? The answer will generally always be yes. The more evidence you have, the deeper your evidence goes, the more layers you have, the stronger the case will be. So should you get more? Should you get a statutory declaration from the landlord? Yes. Do you absolutely need to? No. The law doesn't say you must have a stat dec from the landlord. The law says the cohabitation element and the nature of your household needs to show that you were living together like a de facto or married couple. And, depending on your facts, you may need to be able to show that for 12 months. So yes, you should. No, you don't have to. All letters to our address during that time is sufficient. Again, there's no definitive answers to that question. It's a balancing scale. You want to provide as much as you can. So get the statements. If you were our clients, Manish, I would say, get the statement from your landlord. Here's a template. Provide us evidence of your bills and other third-party documents that have your names at that address. And then you can get super creative. If you can do some cool things with Google Maps to show where you've been, the time spent in certain locations. That's a bit of a hack I might talk about in the training later this month. Juan's asked, my partner has filled out her application but hasn't submitted it yet, and we are still gathering all documents. However, we would like to know if the sponsor application can be filled out meanwhile. Yeah, well, it can if you have a TRN number from a submitted application. So, I suppose there's the technical answer. Yes, you can. However, without a submitted visa, the sponsorship form won't let you to proceed. So I suppose that is, a tactic that we use at Salvo Migration to prepare both our visa and sponsorship forms for our clients. We use old visa TRNs just to draft the sponsorship, and then obviously we change the TRN once we submit the visa and we link the sponsorship correctly. So yes, you can, but you're going to need a TRN from a submitted partner visa. So if you have friends or contacts that have submitted their partner visas and they're waiting, you might be able to use their TRN to at least start drafting the sponsorship form. So, you know, there's a technical answer and there's a practical answer to that. Miwa has a, hi all, I have some questions on the form 888. The latest copy I found on the website is 2019. Would that be okay? All witnesses have to sign the copy and scan. Is it electronic? Look, in all honesty, Miwa, if you've downloaded the form from the Department of Home Affairs, that's not going to be an issue. I've never ever had a problem with having used an incorrect version or an old version of the form. Just if you get the forms from the department website, that's going to be the most up-to-date version of those forms. If they have any problems, you know, they'll let you know and they'll ask you to provide the updated version. But that's never ever popped up as a problem in the hundreds of partner visas that we've submitted, you know, over the years. You've also asked, all witnesses have to sign and copy and scan to us. Is electronic signature acceptable? I would not recommend using electronic signatures because the signatures have to be witnessed. So if the person who's making the declaration in the form 888 signs electronically, that can't be witnessed by the authorized witness. So I wouldn't be providing electronic signatures. You want the person making the declaration to sign, and you want that signature to then be witnessed by the appropriate witness, and then they sign physically. You can then scan the form 888 once those signatures have been made. I mean, you need to scan all your documents and upload everything to the department systems that way anyway. So just to clarify, it's not about the form 888 not being able to be digital, it's just the signature needs to be physical. Okay, Daniela's asked, what forms do we need, basically? She said the form 40, the form 80, the form 888, now the form 1221. Yeah, there's a lot of forms, Daniela, when you're preparing a partner visa. To explain, the form 40SP and 47 are the digital forms. They're completed through the IMI portal. Okay, so when you're submitting your partner visa, you're submitting the visa application form, which is the 47, and then you're submitting the sponsorship, which is the 40SP. In the olden days, 10 years ago, when we were preparing partner visas, we used to physically prepare the hard copy version of those forms. And we would complete them and post applications to the department. That's how old I am when it comes to partner visa preparation. About 6 years ago, they moved to electronic lodgements. So the visa application form and the sponsorship form are the 47 and the 40SP. So you don't need physical versions of those documents. So just making sure you're not preparing physical versions, don't need them. They're done online. You then need form 888s, which are your witness signature, your witness statements. They're provided by your friends and family to attest that yes, your relationship is genuine, it's committed, you're de facto or married, and why they believe your relationship to be real. Then you need, the applicant will typically require a form 80 and sometimes a form 1221, which are very similar. And they are background check character forms. They ask for very personal information about where they've been, where they've lived, where they've traveled to, where they've worked. And the department just use those forms to cross-check with, you know, different, you know, police authorities to make sure that you're not someone from somewhere else or could be a threat to Australia. So to summarize, online 47 and 40SP, the form 888s, which you can have multiple because they're your statements from your friends and family, your form 80 and your form 1221. I would suggest at least have a form 80. Sometimes they request form 1221s. Whilst you're completing the form 80, it's very similar to the form 1221. You can just literally copy and paste the same info. So you might as well complete both and attach it to the application, reduce the likelihood of being requested those forms, which, you know, will just slow down the processing of your application. So that would be my answer to your question. Mafe, please, can you clarify what forms I have to have ready at the time of application? You need to prepare the online application form in your IMI account. You need to prepare the sponsorship form in your IMI account. You need to have your relationship statements written. You need to have form 888s from your friends and family, which is another resource that you can buy if and when you buy our relationship statement guide and template pack. You need to have form 80s if you're an applicant and sometimes Form 1221s. Those are really the key documents. We do have resources that help people in completing all of those things, and we do talk about that at the end of our 3-day live training later this month. So if you're interested in having resources and templates on how to complete all of them, feel free to attend next month, later this month, and I'll present what those options are. Hi Hassan. Hi man, salut. Form 80 provides 50 character spaces max for names. How do we answer that with longer character names? Thank you. Yeah, that's a very cool question. Hassan, there is a part at the end of the Form 80 that allows you to write more freely. So you can address the question. So at the back of the Form 80, you can say this is for question 2, and you can answer it in a much longer form than what you can in the field that's provided to you in the actual question in the Form 80. So that's one way that you can approach it. Or you can print the Form 80 and write on the Form 80, and obviously if you have smaller handwriting, you'll be able to fit more into the fields. So you don't need to type the Form 80, you can print them and write them, and then scan them when you attach it to your application. Hello Juan. Ooh, what happened there? Hi Juan. Martin, probably you've answered this already. My partner has filled out her application but hasn't submitted it yet, and we are still gathering all documents. However, we would like to know if the sponsor application can be filled out meanwhile. I think I answered this one. You can only complete the sponsorship form if you have a valid TRN number for that's associated to a visa that's been submitted. Because if you have a TRN number, you can put that in the sponsorship form and the form allows you to proceed. Unfortunately, if you don't have access to a valid TRN, the department systems won't let you. What I can say though is, I suppose it's just kind of come to mind, if you have a look, if you Google Form 40 SP, Form 40 SP, that is the old physical version of the Form 40 that you now find online. If you if you have a look at that Form 40 SP, the physical version, you'll know more or less the information and the questions that are going to be asked in the digital version of the form. So that's one hack that I can give you to at least start collecting the right information so that when the partner visa is submitted, you can then just go and complete the sponsorship form because you've already completed the physical version of that form.